Emergency Management Associates. We're here for the crisis. We're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign. We're on the front lines. We're one of a kind.
Emergency Management Associates.
We're the calm in the chaos. We're opening gates. Connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, we're picking you up. There you go. EMA. Let's get this show on the road.
Let's get this show on the road, guys. It's very late today. Did not mean to come on the air so late, but we have here, and we're going to continue this on. And I'm going to talk about earthquakes in the Cascadia subduction zone, guys. Yes, we have earthquakes in the Cascadia subduction zone. I promise you that. Okay? All kinds of things are happening. Okay? USGS not reporting anything. Very little. We're going to talk about that. But first thing I'm going to talk about tonight is Iran has struck Israel with hypersonic missiles. Hypersonic missiles have rained down in Israel, and there is a lot of damage. I'm going to bring that to you right now. Then we'll talk about Iran threatening the United States.
The exact number or the exact location, as I said. What I can also tell you, though, is that the Israel Police Bomb Disposal Units are here on this site and multiple other sites. They're some of the best in the world. We're doing everything possible to ensure the safety of the public. We just ask for the public's cooperation. Do your part. Your responsibility can save your life and other lives as well.
All kinds of destruction all over Israel. This is what happens when we have destruction from Iran in Israel. This is what we're going to have happen all over our world if Iran does not stop doing what they're doing. Okay? That's a fact. This is what's going on. It's got to stop. Now, on top of that, Iran today, their foreign minister has said and made threats against the United States. Let's get in on this as well.
About different initiatives and ideas existed for a peaceful settlement of this question. But as all of you know, we suddenly faced with the aggression by American forces to our nuclear facilities. The Islamic Republic of Iran condemns in the strongest terms the United States' brutal military aggression against Iran's peaceful nuclear facilities. It is an outrageous, grave, and unprecedented violation of the fundamental principles of the Charter of the United Nations and international law. The warmongering and lawless administration in Washington is solely and fully responsible for the dangerous consequences and far-reaching implications of its act of aggression. The U.S. military attack on the territorial integrity and national sovereignty of a UN member state carried out with genocidal Israeli regime, carried out in collusion with the genocidal Israeli regime, has once again revealed the extent of the United States' hostility towards the peace-seeking people of Iran, who will never compromise over their...
Switch to Chrome.
Okay, again, Iran is not peaceful. Iran has never been peaceful looking. For the past 50 years, Iran has terrorized the entire world. They sent terrorist cells all over our cities around the world in every country. Iran has also attacked other countries around it, including Israel. And as I just showed you, Iran attacked Israel today. They sent a supersonic missile, hypersonic missile, that can travel over 4,000 miles, which could also reach parts of Europe, cities of Europe such as Berlin, such as Nice, France, such as Paris, such as Hungary. All over Europe, Iran has missiles capable of destroying. That's what Iran has been threatening for a long time. Iran is now threatening the United States with war. Okay? Yes, the United States came in and destroyed the nuclear capabilities of Iran for a reason, because we were trying to keep Iran in tow so they could not operate nuclear weapons all around the world. We're not going to allow it. We have not allowed it. Now, also, Iran attacked Israel, and Iran has continued to attack. Okay? They've closed the Strait of Hormuz. They closed the Strait of Hormuz. Now, one of the prime elements of the ceasefire that President Trump said was in force yesterday was the opening of the Strait of Hormuz. The ceasefire agreement announced yesterday by Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif specifically stipulated the ceasefire applies everywhere, including Lebanon. With the greatest humility, I am blessed to announce that the Islamic Republic of Iran and the United States of America, along with all their allies, have agreed to immediate ceasefire everywhere, including Lebanon, everywhere, effective immediately. That was yesterday. But we have verified reports that Iran has continued launching missiles into Israel. I showed you that a minute ago. At the same time, Hezbollah guerrillas from Lebanon have continued to shell Israel and launch missiles into Israel as well. Lebanon was included in that ceasefire agreement. This continued bombardment of Israel has led Israel to defend itself, sending planes into Lebanon to destroy the Hezbollah capability. For Israel's part, the Israeli Defense Forces announced that in 10 minutes, quote unquote, they have completed the largest coordinated strike across Lebanon since the start of Operation Roaring Lion. The strike reportedly targeted 100 plus Hezbollah targets in Beirut, Bekaa, and southern Lebanon. At the same time, Iran is using this as an excuse to not abide by the ceasefire arrangements that they made through intermediaries in Pakistan, not to abide by the ceasefire. Iran is contending that the Strait of Hormuz is closed, not allowing any ships to pass through the strait. Again, keeping the strait open to all ships, keeping all the strait open to all the ships, whether they were cargo ships or even freighters carrying oil. Now, this could tell me that President Trump has every right to continue to use whatever military force that he has to continue to degrade Iran's defenses to nothing and to destroy the Islamic dynasty in Iran, as he said he was going to do, to decimate Iran's culture back into the dark ages. That's a fact. That is an absolute fact. What Iran has done today, attacking Israel and closing the Strait of Hormuz again, is in direct defiance of the ceasefire agreement, which means now this has signaled that President Trump's views don't mean anything to Iran. They never have. But at this point in time, guys, you and I, as citizens of this country and citizens of our world, okay, I'm talking about all the countries throughout the world, we're all in this together. Okay? We cannot allow Iranian terrorist cells to destroy our countries. And that's where we're going with this. Okay? We can't allow it. President Trump is in consultation right now with every oil magnate around the world. He's ready now to make an announcement. He hasn't made it yet, but he's going to make an announcement about Iran this afternoon. So we're going to see what President Trump says about Iran probably within the next hour. Okay? If we're still on the air, I'll still try to broadcast that event when it happens. Okay? But I want to get into what is going on in Cascadia. That's my primary focus for today. I was going to talk more about what is going on offshore. And yes, we have definition of movement offshore as well. Okay? I want to show you some pictures that I got from earlier. Okay? Earlier. A lot of things have happened offshore. Now, you might ask what is going on. We've talked about the different tectonic plates in play around the world. Talked a lot about it. Well, during the last several months, more movement has occurred on the Pacific Northwest, offshore as well. Okay? Offshore. The tectonic plate, part of the Juan de Fuca fault and the Farallon plate has moved. It's opened up. Look what's this is showing. This plate is opened up. It's fractured offshore. Offshore, guys. The plate is fractured offshore, meaning the tectonic plate, the Juan de Fuca fault, and the Farallon plate has moved. It's opening up. It's moved some 22 millimeters a year. 22 millimeters a year. It's continuing to move. That stress alone caused this fault to open up. This is under the water. This is under the water. It's no surprise to me what's going on land as well. We have had earthquakes on land as well in the Pacific Northwest. Okay? Want to make this abundantly clear what's happening. Okay? Second off, while we're talking about that, the plates are moving, as I said. I want to show you the next thing here. Hold on a second. We talk a lot about subduction here. Talk a lot about subduction. The Juan de Fuca fault, the Farallon plate, and the Cascadia subduction zone is subducting under the North American continent, just like we're showing here. Taking a deep dive. But the Farallon plate that is offshore from British Columbia, Canada, southern British Columbia, Canada, is stuck. Stuck. It's gone underneath the North American plate and it is stuck. Not going anywhere else. Now, what does this mean? One of the things it could mean is that sometime in the near future, the Farallon plate and the North American plate are going to fuse and become one plate. One plate. Okay? Now, this has happened over hundreds of thousands of years in our past. Okay? As the Earth has been developing. As the Earth has been developing. This has been going on. This is going to continue to go on. Okay? But the Farallon plate is stuck. Confused with the North. Confused, meaning could sew itself together with the North American plate, just like this. Okay, it's stuck. Now, with that said, the Juan de Fuca plate offshore is continuing to subduct down into the mantle of the Earth. When that happens, as the Juan de Fuca plate continues to subduct, at some point in time, all that landmass of the Juan de Fuca plate is going down into the mantle, and what happens when it gets down into the mantle? What do you think is going to happen, guys? That mantle of the Earth is very hot. All that earth substance, all that earthly substance is going to turn into magma. It's going to heat up and turn into magma, guys, further fueling the volcanoes. That's what's going to happen. We've already seen the volcanoes move. We've already seen Rainier, for example, and Mount Baker, and Glacier Peak, and Mount Hood, and Mount St. Helens move. We've seen magma movement under the volcanoes, guys, and it's continuing. Regardless of what USGS or the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network says, or what they want to show us, all the volcanoes are recharging. All the volcanoes are recharging. I talked about the volcanoes. I talked about the tectonic plates last night. We talked about the entire ring of fire being full of fire and moving. Full fire means the entire ring of fire is situated as such by volcanoes all around the horseshoe shape of the ring of fire, shaped by volcanoes. You can't have volcanoes without subduction. You cannot have subduction without volcanoes. That's a fact. But I want to show you this information before we get started today, because we do have movement on the fault. We have movement all over the place. Okay? I want to make that perfectly clear tonight. Now, let's pull up the seismograms and show what's exactly happening. You might be blown away by this, guys. You might be blown away by this. I first want to show you Beaverton, Oregon. We don't normally show Beaverton, Oregon, but it has a lot of movement. Lots and lots of movement here. Okay? This movement is tremors for the most part. Tremors and minor earthquakes. Look at this. The top left-hand corner of every one of these seismograms starts about 8 p.m. Pacific time every day. Look at all these tremors here. Beaverton, Oregon. They continue. They continue into today. Look at all that activity. The USGS doesn't show it, does it? The USGS doesn't show it on the map at all. These tremors are not just 1.1, 1.2. They're 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 tremors. Okay? Unreal. Unreal. But I want to show you something else. Okay? I want to go down to their tremor map. What's going on with the tremor map? You might say. Guess what? The tremors map has moved. It continues to move. It continues to move, guys. Hold on a second. Here's a tremor map. Look what they're not showing us. Look what they're not showing us. At no time does the USGS map show these tremors. Every one of these tremors are anywhere from 1.0 to 1.8. 1.0 to 1.8 tremors. But nowhere on the USGS map does it show these tremors at all. We have a great deal of tremors up here in the southwestern British Columbia area. Vancouver Island, Vancouver, British Columbia. Going down into Washington State. Northern Washington State here. The same time, down here in Northern California. This is Mount Lassen and Mount Shasta in Northern California. Look at this. Tons and tons of tremors here. 180 tremors here on the map. 180 tremors on the map. But again, USGS not showing any of this. None of it. They don't want anybody to know what's happening. That's why we're here. That's exactly why we are here. These tremors are occurring because there is movement. There's movement offshore. The Cascadia subduction zone is subducting under the North American plate, up and down the entire fault line. Up and down the entire fault line. Okay? We have earthquakes. We have tons and tons of earthquakes. Beaverton, Oregon, for example, today. Guys, I'm going to go from there. I want to show you what's happening. And yes, we're going to talk about volcanoes also here. So stay tuned, guys. Beaverton, Oregon here. The next place I want to go is Bethel, Washington. Bethel, Washington. Heidi Petrick lives in Bethel, Washington. Look what's happening here in Bethel. Look at all the tremors happening here. Tremors and minor earthquakes here. 2.0 earthquakes here. All day long here. Look at these tremors and minor earthquakes. Tremors being 1.0 to 1.9 and 2.0 earthquakes here as well. All day long in Bethel, Washington. It's not over, guys. There's more. How about Cinnabar, Washington? Cinnabar, Washington. I'm sorry, this is Bethel, Washington here. Excuse me. This is Bethel, Washington here. Yes, we have a lot of tremors here. Look at this. And then look at this afternoon. Bethel, Washington. Let's go back to Cinnabar, Washington as well. Look at all these tremors, minor earthquakes here. Cinnabar, Washington. And yet USGS would tell us nothing's going on. Now, I want to go over to Leavenworth, Washington. Leavenworth, Washington here. Last night after 8 p.m., we hardly have anything showing here. Again, I think that's possibly due to the seismologists turning down the seismographs so they don't get embarrassed by anything that pops up during the nighttime when they're off duty. Then, what happens here? Just like I've said before, when the seismologists come back to work, in this case, they turned the seismograph back up about 11 a.m. this morning. Look what happens. Suddenly, we have some tremors, another earthquake here. 2.6, 2.7 earthquake here at approximately 12:43 this afternoon. 2.6, 2.7 earthquake at about 12:43 this afternoon. Okay? Yet all night long And early this morning, they didn't show us anything going on here. That's quite a travesty, guys, when they don't like to show anything happening. That's because they don't want anybody to understand what's going on. Because when a major earthquake happens, they're going to claim they knew nothing about it. They're going to claim they know nothing about it. Let's look again over at Lummi, Washington. Lummi Island, Washington. This is up in the Puget Sound region. Last night, this blue line showing 8:45 p.m. last night. We go over here to approximately 8:54 p.m. last night. Again, we have a 2.6, 2.7 earthquake here. Then all they show is tremors after that. Until later on this morning, nothing but tremors again. This is the Puget Sound, northern Puget Sound, Washington State. I'm not done. Ocean Shores, Washington. The northern coastline of Washington State. Ocean Shores, Washington. Look at all the tremors here. They're not showing this as well. Look at the long duration tremor activity happening here. Long duration tremor activity. Why? Because, guys, in this case, this particular seismogram is showing magma movement. Magma movement. The thinner the lines, less magma. The thicker the lines, more magma here. These are called magma pulse signals. Magma pulse signals. The magma shown here near the shoreline of Washington State is moving towards the volcanoes off the Pacific Plate. Off the Pacific Plate, guys. Okay? Headed for the volcanoes here. You can plainly see what's going on. Then look what happens this afternoon. All this magma is causing earthquakes. The magma comes through the magma channels underneath the ground that we walk on, causing rock fraction inside the chamber. Rock fraction inside the magmatic chamber underneath the ground we're walking on. That's why we're seeing tremors and quakes here at Ocean Shores, Washington. But it's ongoing. It's ongoing. That's going to continue ongoing. Okay? Let's look at Orcas Island, Washington, also up in the Puget Sound. Last night, look at this. We have tremors, and we have at least one 2.0 earthquake here. Then again, after the seismologists leave, they turn the seismograph down. So it's not recording much of anything, so they're not embarrassed in the morning. Have to explain what happened during the nighttime. Then when they get back to work, they turn it back up here. All night long and all early this morning, nothing happened. Then again this morning, later this morning, all of a sudden there's activity. That doesn't happen in the natural world. We have tremors, we have earthquakes all day long, 24/7. They don't stop just because someone wants them to stop it. It happens regardless, 24/7. USGS and Pacific Northwest Seismic Network don't want to show it. All of a sudden, when they come back to work, they have to show it. All kinds of tremors and minor activity here. This again is Orcas Island, Washington, at the regional airport on Orcas Island. Okay? Next, I want to show you Sugarloaf, Washington. Sugarloaf, Washington. Look at this, guys. What are we showing you here? Harmonic tremors again. Harmonic tremors. Magma moving beneath the ground and causing it to vibrate. Magma moving beneath the ground and causing it to vibrate. Harmonic tremors. Then you see other tremor activity here as well. This is continuing. Then early this morning, at approximately 8:18 this morning, on that red line. Guys, that is a tremor here caused by magma. Look at that line there. It's thicker here. That tremor caused rock fracturing in the magma chamber. Okay? Then this afternoon, you see a black line here that says 12:22 p.m. this afternoon. That's on the left-hand side. We go across this line here on the black line, we have a 2.0 earthquake. 2.0 earthquake here. About 12:27, 12:28 this afternoon. Okay? That's what's happening here. The magma is moving. The magma is causing rock fracturing inside the magma chamber. You see tremors here, all over. Literally all over. I want to drop down to Tocatee, Washington. I'm sorry, not Washington. Tocatee, Oregon. Tocatee, Oregon. Look at this. Again, we're seeing harmonic tremors here at a volcano. At a volcano. This is what's going on. The magma is coming into the volcano, causing the magma, or causing the volcanic area of the volcano, the earth around the volcano, to vibrate. Earth around the volcano is vibrating here. Harmonic tremors. Okay? This is not going. Not stopping. Okay? Now I want to go over to, what do I want to show you next? It's all important here. Let's go over to Mount Rainier first. Let's look at Camp Sherman. Camp Sherman, guys. Look what we're seeing here. Harmonic tremors all day long. The magma coming into Mount Rainier, showing on the Camp Sherman seismogram, is showing harmonic tremors all day long here. Look at that. That's incredible, isn't it? That's incredible. Look down here at the bottom. These I don't think are just tremors. These are like 2.0 earthquakes constantly. Constant 2.0 earthquakes here. I believe that's what we're really seeing here at Mount Rainier. That is what the seismogram here at the bottom of the seismogram is showing. These are 2.0 earthquakes happening over and over every second of every day here at Mount Rainier. These 2.0 minor earthquakes are not felt. Only the upper side of 2.6, 2.7, 2.8, 2.9 could possibly be felt by very sensitive people. These are 2.0 earthquakes happening constantly, vibrating Mount Rainier, vibrating the volcano. Every day. Every day. That's Camp Sherman. Let's take a look at Camp Muir over on the north side of Mount Rainier. Camp Muir on the north side of Mount Rainier. This particular diagram is not showing much of anything. Tiny tremors at best. Tiny tremors at best. We have one 2.0 earthquake at all here. On the blue line, or I'm sorry, on the red line after 3:40 this morning on the left-hand side. Over here on the right-hand side, this would be about 3:56 a.m. this morning. 3:56 a.m. this morning, 2.0 earthquake here at Camp Muir, the north side of Mount Rainier here. Okay. Other than that, all we are having here are tremors here at Mount Rainier at Camp Muir. Camp Sherman is more located over the volcanic chamber. Camp Sherman is located more over the volcanic chamber than Camp Muir is. But we're not done here. Okay? I want to take you over to Emerald Ridge. Rainier Emerald Ridge. This is over on the southwest side of Mount Rainier. This is the VF wave channel. Okay? This particular channel on the Emerald Ridge seismograph is showing us the vibration of the magma inside the magma chamber. The VF waves, very low frequency waves generated by magma coming into Mount Rainier. Last night, look what's happening here. We're showing a 5.6 earthquake last night on this blue line here. Just after 8:42 p.m. last night. 2.5, 2.6 earthquake. But the VF wave lines here, they're still going. There is some magma coming into the magma chamber here. Then we see very little happening here until late this morning. Look what happens late this morning. The magma starts flowing in at more rapid rate. As a result, we see these VF waves coming in very rapid fashion. But again, on the other seismograms, they're not showing any earthquakes at all. When magma starts flowing in at a more rapid rate, it fractures the rocks inside the magma chamber, causing earthquakes, causing earth movement. That's not what they're showing on the seismograph at all. They're not showing anything. What does that mean? It means that the seismologists are deleting the activity. They are erasing or deleting the activity off the seismographs. Again, they don't want us to know what's happening. They're trying their darndest to make sure we don't see what's happening. This is the other seismogram here at Mount Rainier at Emerald Ridge. On this particular seismogram, you still see the 2.5, 2.6 earthquake here from the other one. But the other one did not show this other earlier one. Did show this earlier one here. That is probably a 1.7, 1.8 tremor here. And yes, on each individual line, you are seeing the magma pulse signals generated here. Again, the thicker the line, the more magma coming into the magma chamber. The thinner line, less magma coming into the magma chamber of this volcano. That's what they're showing us here. Very little movement. Very little movement. Even this afternoon, late this morning, early this afternoon, when the magma was still coming into the magma chamber on pretty much more violent rate, hardly any activity. They are deleting the activity off the seismographs. Again, they don't want to see what's happening here. That is the whole purpose to keep the public in check, to make sure we don't know what's happening. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid. Let's go south to Mount St. Helens here. Let's go over to East Dome Mount St. Helens. The seismogram at East Dome Mount St. Helens sits on top of the last eruptive cycle of Mount St. Helens back in 1980. I'm sorry, 1989. 1980. Okay? The seismograph sits on top of the lava that has cooled off, chilled off, and hardened. Okay? That's what we're seeing here on the seismograph here. Tremors here. Tremors for the most part. We see one larger tremor here, probably 1.9 to 2.0 earthquake here at 21:20, actually 21:25, 21:26 last night. 1.99 to 2.0 earthquake last night. Then look what we're showing here. Tremors for the most part. But what happened between 7:55, actually 7:45 on the red line here above this? We're seeing some activity, aren't we? About 7:45 this morning, we're seeing some activity that's covered up by the PNSN dialogue here. That appears to be a 2.5 earthquake, minor 2.5 earthquake here at Mount St. Helens. And then what appears to be maybe one even larger, maybe a 2.6, 2.7 on that same line. But you don't see anything else on here. Why not? The activity is there. The activity is there, but they're not showing it. This is East Dome Mount St. Helens. Let's take a look at another seismogram from a seismograph that's sitting on top of the volcano. Sitting on top of the volcano. The caldera of the volcano. This is called September lobe. September lobe, guys. September lobe is showing us a lot of activity here. Right here. Okay? September lobe's main seismograph is the HHZ channel. Doesn't show us anything at all. Straight, solid, horizontal lines. Nothing at all. But here in the September lobe VLF wave channel here, called the BDF-CC01, we're showing magma coming into the magma chamber of this volcano. Up at the top of it, we're showing relatively larger earthquake activity here. I'm not earthquake, magma activity here at Mount St. Helens. But they're not shown on the other seismograph. Why not? Then, after about 3 a.m. this morning, things calm down here. They don't show anything at all. Nothing. Nothing at all. Going into this afternoon, nothing at all here. That's false information. These solid horizontal lines are false information. During the past 7 years that I've been monitoring Mount St. Helens, the September lobe seismogram, it's always showed heavy activity here from magma coming into the magma chamber. And yes, the scientists are saying that both Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens are entering the stage where they're recharging for an eruption. Yet the scientific evidence, the seismograms don't show it. They don't show anything. That's wild. That's wild. They don't want to show us activity here. You have to ask, why not? Why not? Now, I want to go to a seismograph that sits over north Mount St. Helens. It's called Studebaker Ridge. Studebaker Ridge here. Look what's happening here at Studebaker Ridge. Last night, after 8 p.m. on the top line here, all you see are tremors here. Each individual line is also showing some magma coming in to the magma chamber here. Now, guys, if you look at the site at the elevated areas around Mount St. Helens on USGS maps, this is a semi-wooded area with volcanic rock all over the place. Studebaker Ridge used to be a volcano itself. But over the years, over thousands of years, between water, yes, you had oceans flowing over this area, between water and ice lowered the crater down to about nothing, to just about nothing. All that we're seeing here on the ground around around Studebaker Ridge is volcanic rock, and that's all. The crater doesn't exist, but the Studebaker Ridge used to be a volcano. We see tremors here last night, but again, they turn everything down. They don't want anybody to know what's going on here. Look what happens after they come back to work this morning. All of a sudden, we have tremors here. Magma coming into the magma chamber here at Studebaker Ridge, causing tremors here. Rock fracturing inside the magma chamber, causing tremors. Go figure. Then, late this morning, we start seeing those harmonic tremors come back. Harmonic tremors coming back as well. The ground around Studebaker Ridge is vibrating. Harmonic tremors here. But again, the magma beneath the ground here at Studebaker Ridge is also causing tremor activity. Tremor activity here. You can see it here on the graph, on the seismograph. All over the place. Now, this is the BHN channel at Studebaker Ridge. At the top here, the other seismograph showed us a 2.6 earthquake. This is the VLF wave channel, guys, the BHN channel, Studebaker Ridge. They're showing very little magma coming into the magma chamber here. Then it's basically nothing all night long. Then late this morning, we have a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here late this morning. Then after that, all of a sudden they start showing us some VLF waves here. Very low frequency waves caused by magma coming into the magma chamber. Bad thing is, they're not showing enough of the vibration of the magma causing these waves. They're not showing the volcanic waves, the VLF waves, the very low frequency waves caused by magma coming into the magma chamber here at Studebaker Ridge. Heaven forbid they show us activity. They don't want us to understand what's actually going on. But as I explained, Studebaker Ridge used to be a volcano. It's showing signs of recharging. It is showing signs of recharging. Let's go over to Mount Hood now. Mount Hood. I want to show you Mount Hood timberline. Timberline. Look at this. This is the BHE main channel here at Timberline. This is the southern side of Mount Hood, the lower southern side of Mount Hood. Most people refer to it government camp. Government camp. There is somewhat of a lodge and museum there at government camp. That's where the seismograph is located. They're showing very little activity here at Timberline. Up until 3 months ago, they were showing all kinds of activity here. But again, I believe they are deleting the activity from the seismograph. All you are seeing here is magma coming into the magma chamber. Magma pulse signals here. Thicker lines, thinner lines here. Magma pulse signals. You are also seeing some tremors here as well, caused by the magma coming into the magma chamber here at Mount Hood. Late this morning, early this afternoon. It increases, doesn't it? Once the seismologists come in, turn the seismographs up, all of a sudden we have more activity. Fancy that. How many seismographs do I have to show everybody to prove that they turn them down late at night, they turn them back up early in the morning to let you see activity? Look at all this activity this morning, this afternoon. All kinds of it. All kinds of it. This is the other seismogram from Mount Hood, the BHE channel here at Mount Hood. The top line here shows very little tremor activity, but it increases here. In this case, it increases like it should. Like it should. All evening long, it increases. It increases into the early morning hours as well. Look at this. Going into this afternoon. Okay? At about 3 p.m. on the red line there. 3 p.m. on the red line here on the left-hand side. Look at all that magma there. There was a magma boost here. All of a sudden, for about 5 to 10 minutes, more magma came into the magma chamber here. But they still don't show any earthquakes as a result of that magma. That means they are deleting the earthquakes. They are deleting the earthquakes. Whenever there's a magma burst, there's going to be more and more rock fracturing. They're not showing it. They're not showing the earth movement here at Mount Hood. They're deleting it. Now, let's go south. I picked up Newberry Volcano. I picked up Newberry Volcano here. Look what we're showing here. In this particular case on this volcano, this is in Oregon, number one. Number two, look at the magma pulse signals here. Look at the magma pulse signals. Look at the tremors here. In this case, we're seeing more and more tremors here with the thicker lines. With the thicker lines, we're seeing more and more tremors. That is as it should be. As more and more magma comes in the magma chamber, it fractures the rock, causing more and more earth movement, i.e. tremors and or earthquakes. That's what we see here. Let's continue throughout the night. Look at that. Stayed about the same here in Newberry Volcano. But then late this morning, early this afternoon, it increased. This increased. Okay? What does that tell you? The USGS and the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network don't want to take responsibility for what happens during the nighttime hours that they are away from the office. They turn the seismograph down so that it doesn't record everything, or it only records what is absolutely have to be sent. Meaning that the seismograph is only allowed to send some short signals. The seismograph itself is only allowed to show short signals, only partial signals here. That's what I believe happened all night long. Then the seismologists come back in, turn the machine back up, and suddenly we have more activity here. Go figure. Okay? Next, I want to go to Crater Lake. Down in South Central Oregon, there's a big, huge volcano called Crater Lake. Crater Lake is an alpine lake at the top of the volcano, caused by rain or snow or groundwater flowing into the crater, top of the crater, the lake. Now, guys, what happens here? What do you think happens here? Crater Lake is moving, guys. Crater Lake is moving. Naturally, it's moving. It has to move. It has to move. What are we seeing here? We're seeing magma pulse signals here. The more magma coming into the magma chamber here at Crater Lake, the more magma. Less magma, less signals here. Less magma pulse signals. But we're also seeing tremors here. Tremors caused by the magma coming into the magma chamber here at Crater Lake. Now, at the top of the lake, what's going on? I should say at the top of the volcano, what's going on? Volcano has a crater, right? Down beneath the top of the rim of the volcano, there's a volcano floor. There's a volcano floor called the caldera. The caldera is leftover lava that's cold, that's chilled out, cold, and hardened. And when that happens, there is a rim of lava around the top of the volcano. Groundwater, rain, and snow is allowed to accumulate inside the rim of the volcano here. Water, snow, and groundwater. Rain causing water, groundwater coming in also from the ground, and snow falling there is called what they call an alpine lake. A very deep lake here. One of the deepest lakes in the world is at Crater Lake. Look what we're seeing here. Let's go back. Last October, I showed you all kinds of activity here at Crater Lake. They had a seismograph called Crater Lake Fleetwood Cove on the northeast side of the volcano. Northeast side of the volcano. It was recording data on the northeast side of the volcano. Last October, the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network and USGS decided to turn it off. Crater Lake Fleetwood Cove no longer exists at all. Down to the south, on the other south, down to the south, on the southeast side of the volcano, There was another seismograph. The seismograph there was called Mount Scott. Last October, they turned Mount Scott off as well. A couple times between October and now, they turned it back on. But now it's off. It's been off for a long time. Crater Lake Mount Scott is no longer showing any data at all. The only data we have coming from Crater Lake is basically Crater Lake bunkhouse. The seismogram you're seeing here from the bunkhouse seismograph. Yeah, that's all. This is what's going on here at Crater Lake. Right here. This Crater Lake right here. Nothing. Basically nothing. Last night at 8 o'clock, on the top line here, nothing. All we see here are tremors. All we see here are tremors. Nothing more. Then as the seismologists start coming into work, they turn up the seismograph itself. They turn up the machine so it will show more activity. Look what we see here. We see more tremors here. A lot more tremors. But why are we not seeing magma coming in here from the magma chamber? These are very thin lines here. They decided that these thicker lines don't need to be shown here. You would think they would. It's my belief, because these lines are so thin, they're no thicker than the lines above it last night when they turned the seismograph down. Again, I believe they are deleting activity. They're at least showing us tremors here. Tremors caused by magma here at Crater Lake. But heaven forbid they show it to us. They don't want to admit what's going on here. They do not want to admit what's going on here. Now, at the bunkhouse at Crater Lake, there's also another channel here at this seismograph. It's called BHN channel. It's a 3-channel seismograph. The BHN channel is showing you magma coming into the magma chamber here. Look at the top here. Yes, last night about 8 o'clock, there is some magma movement here. Then suddenly it dies off. The seismograph is only showing you very little magma movement coming into the seismograph. Unreal. Why not? Why not? Now, it's my contention that they even turned down the seismograph so it's not going to show much activity. Because what happens when they come back in the morning, this morning? All of a sudden, there's all kinds of activity here. We're seeing all kinds of magma movement here. Great magma movement, in fact. The magma movement supersedes anything else on the seismogram that we showed you here all day long. On any other seismogram or any other volcano here. They're not showing activity. They don't want anybody to realize what's happening here. That's pretty sad. That's a sad commentary here. Okay? Now, as I said before, Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier are gearing up to erupt. Whether or not USGS wants to show us or not. But even Crater Lake here is showing us activity here. Only when the seismologists allow us to see it. Only when the seismologists allowed us to see it. That's what's happening here. The Pacific Northwest Seismic Network is working, but they're working only for the politicians. They're working only for the politicians. The politicians are telling the people at the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network and the USGS to not say anything. Don't say anything what's going on. Don't talk about earthquakes unless it's absolutely necessary. Unreal. Unreal. There probably are hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people, throughout Oregon and Washington that feel movement every day beneath their feet. Small earthquakes, 3.0, 3.5 happening every day, all over Washington and Oregon. We know for a fact that Mount Baker is showing earthquakes. Mount Baker is showing earthquakes. Why? Because there are tremors here at Mount Baker. 2.0, 2.3 earthquakes are happening at Mount Baker, causing harmonic tremors. Yeah, harmonic tremors happening. They're happening at Mount Baker, they're happening at Glacier Peak, they're happening at Mount Rainier, they're happening at Mount St. Helens, they're happening at Mount Hood, they're happening at Newberry Volcano, they're happening at Moon Volcano, they're happening at Sisters Volcano and Crater Lake Volcano. Happening all over the place. But the agencies are not going to allow us to see it. The main two volcanoes we need to worry about are St. Helens and Mount Rainier. Those are the two volcanoes in the Pacific Northwest right now. They're showing signs of recharging to the point that they could erupt once again. But even down here at Crater Lake, South Central Oregon, we're still seeing a good deal of magma coming into the volcano here. I think the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network thought that I wouldn't show it because I have not shown a lot of activity at Crater Lake in the past couple months because they haven't shown it. Because their seismograms show almost nothing happening. I've told you about that. I was showing you some of the seismograms showing that. They don't want anybody to see what's happening. I just showed you what's happening. Okay? Again, as I showed you at the beginning of this broadcast, Iran has attacked Israel with hypersonic missiles that can reach all over Europe. France, Italy, Hungary, Romania, Greece, Turkey, Syria, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain. Anybody that does not cooperate with Iran, Iran attacks. Israel got attacked by Lebanon, and Israel defended itself. Israel's now been attacked by Iran. I fully expect, and they've also kept the Straits of Hormuz closed. I fully expect the President of the United States to take action against Iran again for violation of the ceasefire. Again, the main contention of the ceasefire was to get the Strait of Hormuz opened to get shipping containers and shipping oil out of the Middle East. But again, Iran doesn't want that to happen. As I explained last night, Iran's been asking for $1 million per ship to cross through the strait. Last night, President Trump joked Maybe he has to take over the strait himself to allow free movement through the Strait of Hormuz, to allow cargo, oil, and all other goods to flow through the Strait of Hormuz. Maybe that needs to be happening. We'll see what happens. Okay? Let's keep a close eye on what happens with President Trump tonight. He may very well open up war against Iran on a whole new basis. He may go into Iran on a whole new basis and completely annihilate Iran, as he said he was going to do. Because the Muslim mullahs are telling their soldiers, the Iranian guard, to attack. That's what the Revolutionary Guard has done. We'll see what happens tonight, tomorrow. Let's keep an eye on social media. Now, I don't think we're going to get any truth out of CNN. Presently, there's a big suit against CNN and NBC for lying to the public. Big, huge suit going on. We'll see what happens with that as well. But guys, things are happening. Now, before I leave you tonight, I want to go over the scriptures, the New Testament here. I want to go over Acts. Acts of the Apostles, chapter 1. I'm going into verse 8 and 9 especially. Maybe I'll even go into verse 11 as well. 8, 9, 10, and 11. In verse 8 it starts out, "But ye shall receive power after the Holy Ghost is come unto you. And ye shall witness unto me both in Jerusalem and in all of Judea and Samaria, and unto the uttermost part of the earth." This is Paul talking about Jesus Christ, allowing the power of the Holy Ghost to influence people's lives. You and I, each and every one of us, has the power within ourselves to receive the gift of the Holy Ghost. When we receive the gift of the Holy Ghost, we can be inspired. We can more understand what the Lord wants us to do. In verse 9, Paul says, "And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And while they looked steadfastly into heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Jesus is which is taken up from you into heaven shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven." Coming in like manner to all of us, you and I. Guys, it is my belief, my personal revelation from God, that the second coming is nigh. I believe we're all going to see the second coming very soon, maybe even in our own lifetimes. All the signs are there. As I've been saying all along, I ask each and every one of you to study the scriptures yourself. Find out your own testimony of Jesus Christ. Find out for yourself that Jesus Christ lives, that Jesus Christ still hears and answers prayers. He does. He does. I have my own proof of that. I have my own proof of that. I've been blessed. And I think each and every one of us have been blessed as well. What you and I do with that blessing is up to us. But I believe that we should share it with everybody we know, especially with our family members, our children, our brothers and sisters. If our parents are still alive, we need to share it with them as well. I believe in my own heart of hearts that our parents, all of our parents, shared that information with us when they were still alive. Mine did. Yours may have also. Share the gospel of Jesus Christ with your families. Share with your neighbors and friends. Make sure the gospel of Jesus Christ goes out through all the world, as the Acts of the Apostles said it was supposed to go. Spread the gospel throughout the world, to the outer parts of the world, outer parts of the earth. Christ is about to return. He's about to return. Things are happening. Let's make sure we welcome Jesus Christ into our lives in right manner. Make sure we do that for all of us, for each and every one of us. Now, in closing, I ask each and every one of you, please consider donating to our channel, keep this channel on the air. We have P2 PayPal locations scrolling across the bottom of your screen. Go there and send us a donation if you have it within your ability to do so. Yes, I understand there are people that can't. I totally get that. But we need your help keep this channel in the air. Also, our address for our emails here, RLT and SPDEMA@gmail.com. Send us your questions. You can send us our comments, your comments. You can also send us criticisms. You can also send us what you'd like to see here in the channel, and I will respond to you here. I may not, if you don't want me to respond to you personally, I'll respond to your comments here on the channel, because I believe you want us to know what you want us to know. I will share with you. Also, after we go off the air, there will be comments coming up underneath the video here that you see. Comment section. You can leave us comments after the program's over. Please leave us positive comments. What you liked about the show and what you most admired about what's going on here. What you think we should be doing here. Share with YouTube. There's several analytics YouTube looks at. Number one, the number of people watch our channel. Number two, the length of time you watch our channel as well. Lately, you leave our channel at 8 minutes long, 9 minutes long. Please, guys, please stay for a majority of the program. Tonight, so far, we've been on the program 78 minutes. I'm gradually getting shorter. I want to take it down to an hour, maybe even less. But guys, we're doing it for you. We're doing it for you. Please, number one, come and watch our program. Share this program with everybody you know. Your family, your extended family, your friends and your neighbors, the people you associate with on social media, even the people you work with. Also, please make sure you check your subscription. Make sure you're still subscribed to our channel. YouTube is unsubscribed about 50 or 20 people here. Not 50, but 20 people here. And last week, unsubscribed 20 people. Please make sure you're still subscribed to this channel. Okay? Number three, please send us comments and questions. YouTube looks at the number of people watching our program. They look at the time amount of program that you're here. They look at the comments here as well. They look at the number of likes you give us. Please give us a thumbs up, guys. That would be very appreciated. Very, very appreciated. Those analytics here tell YouTube whether they're going to allow us to be seen by anybody else on YouTube. Think about that. Please make sure you help us help ourselves on this channel. Okay? We love you. We care about you greatly. Greatly. Also, our regular post office box, 504 Bethel Road, box 401, Morganton, North Carolina, Morganton, North Carolina. Zip code here is 28655. Send us letters and cards. We'd love to get those from you. I'll even put that information out on the air when we receive your letters and cards. Please do that. We'd appreciate it. Inside the letters or cards, you can also send us donation to keep this program on the air. That happens. We get checks and cash in the mail inserted inside cards and letters all the time. We'd appreciate you doing that for us. May God bless you. May God be with you this day and always. May God bless you with everything you stand in need of. May God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side, everyone. God bless you. God be with you until we meet again. Have a good night, everybody. God bless. See you soon. Good night.
Here at Emergency Management Associates, we're dedicated and true, bringing you the essential knowledge, helping you see things through. From disaster preparedness to navigating recovery's embrace, we're here to guide you in every unpredictable time and place. We break down the complex, make it easy to grasp and absorb, sharing strategies for safety, the vital lessons you can't afford to hoard, So thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your sub. You're a key part of our growing family, a member of our knowledge club. With every like, every share, and every comment you send our way, our critical message spreads further, helping more people every single day. Together we're stronger and more prepared. That's the truth we all abide. You help us build resilience with nowhere for uncertainty to hide. Your engagement truly inspires us. Your feedback acts as a guiding light, helping us continually grow and making our channel's future bright. We're always learning, always striving to be better, bring you the most up-to-date information, no matter the weather. Emergency Management Associates is here for you now and forever, it's true. Keep watching, keep learning, because we truly appreciate all that you do. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.